Hi everyone, I'm Hayley. I'm always in the craft room and welcome to another Friday Sews. I've got quite a few bits to show you today. Let's get straight in with my finished Odell blouse. So I was making this during last week's Friday sews. I showed you a few details, but here is the finished garment and I absolutely love it. I really do. It was the perfect match of fabric and pattern. Look how well this cotton holds those puffy sleeves. And I bought this fabric locally. I saw it about 3 or 4 months ago, loved it, but couldn't think of what to use it for. And I don't know about you, but my stash is big enough without buying fabrics that I have no idea what they would be good for. So I left it at the shop. And then recently I was back there, saw it again, and having just made my turquoise Odell dress, suddenly it was so clear to me it needed to be a blouse. And I'm absolutely thrilled with it. The raglan sleeve going into all these sleeve panels is just, oh, I absolutely love it. I bound the neckline instead of using the facing because, as you can see with this white fabric, it is kind of, it's not see-through, but you would have been able to see a facing, and I don't know why, but I find that really distracting. I don't mind a hem, but for the facing it's not what I wanted, so I used a shop bought bias, and I've done a pretty neat job for me. It's by no means perfect, but it's definitely good enough. And this is actually the back. So you will see in the modelled footage that the back comes lower than the front, which is an unusual detail, but one that I really appreciate in this pattern. The sleeves are gathered into a cuff, and you might recall, if you watched my video about the turquoise one, that when I made that, I realised that ever since I got my newest sewing machine, which is this Faff Ambition 620, I was actually sewing a 1 centimetre seam allowance at 9mm instead of 1 centimetre, just because I find the stitch plate markings not the clearest. Anyway, I realised when I was sewing that dress, because when I came to put the cuff in, it didn't match. So this pattern has also taught me something invaluable, which is how to use a correct seam allowance on my machine, because when I sewed this one, I was so careful to do it at exactly a centimetre on every seam, and the cuff matched perfectly. So I'm really pleased that I know that for the future and that I got to practice a skill. These sleeves are a lot of fun to do. They really are, because as you build it, you can see the whole thing coming together. And then once you've got both the sleeves in, you just add in the back panel and suddenly you've got a blouse. So much fun. So yeah, I extended the bust darts as per my dress, and I actually did it, I was going to say before I cut it out, but I didn't actually cut the pattern piece any different. I literally, oh, handily, you can still see my construction markings because I haven't quite blotted them out. Can you see that blue dot? So the original bust dart, I simply extended it by 3.5 centimetres in, and it is at an upward angle. And I think that now lies at the correct place for me. Yeah, as I said, I didn't change the angle, I didn't move it up nor down. I literally just, if you imagine a dart is like that, and then you've got the middle line, I just took the line out further and then drew in a new dart from the notches. If that is incorrect and you know the right way to do it, do tell me down below. Always up for learning new things. Never want anyone to think this is a tutorial channel, because I'm making this up as I go along. So yeah, really happy with the fit. It skims, it's close, which I do think you need with these big feature sleeves, but it's certainly not tight. There's no closures or anything. It's on straight over the head, and I did actually shorten it quite a lot. Now, holding it here, that looks really cropped. On me with my short torso, it hits at high hip. It's not cropped. I shortened it, right, oof, I'm going to have to think about this. So at the lengthen and shorten line, I folded out 3 centimetres, which is fairly standard for me. I usually do either 3 or 4, just based on a gut feeling when I look at the pattern piece. And then I also cut off 5 centimetres, but wait, and I also turned a deeper hem than suggested. So they suggest a 1 centimetre and then a 2 centimetre, removing 3 centimetres. I did 2.5 centimetres from the double, removing 5 centimetres. So that was 2. Then there was the 5, then there was the 3. So this is 10 centimetres shorter than the pattern intends altogether. But I do have a short torso and I am only 5'4". So yeah, bear all that in mind. Yeah, I'm just really thrilled with it. I have found with the dress, because I don't often work with cotton, I do have to steam it every time I wear it. So I'm kind of excited for wearing this the first time. And then, I don't know, because they're going to be difficult to iron, aren't they? With the dress, which is a slightly finer cotton, I've just been steaming it with my handheld steamer, which has been sufficient. If I do have to properly iron this every time, I'm not sure how enthusiastic I'll be about wearing it, but time will tell. Okay, so that's the only thing I finished this week. I did do a quick alteration, which was to my Pattern Scout Flora top. Nope, that's the back, and that's the front. And all I did was, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, shorten the straps. And I did it the simplest way I could think of, which was to simply fold the strap down, fold it up again, and stitch. And then I did just hand tack it down because it was flopping out. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I didn't want to unpick just because I'm lazy, but I also didn't want to unpick and then trim the straps in case I did them too short, because look, I tried it on as I was doing it, I pinned it, I did what I thought was right, but I did what I thought was right when I made it, and in the wearing, they were way too long and fell off my shoulders all the time and drove me mad. So I have taken out 2 centimetres from each strap with that alteration. Felt right when I pinned it. I won't know until I wear it, like for a day. So I've left the length there just in case I did get it wrong again. But yeah, pleased to have that done. Whilst the machine was threaded pink, I made some undies, a desperate need in my wardrobe. Shall we have the full story? Yeah, go on then. So, you know those memes where people are like, tell me your ex without telling me your ex? Well, I've got a good one. Tell me you're British without telling me you're British. And that is the statement, I buy all my underwear at Marks and Spencer's. M&S, Marks and Sparks, Marks, Sparks. We've got a lot of names for one department store, but us Brits love to buy our underwear there. And I counted myself amongst that number of loyal fans until in about 2015, they discontinued my favourite style of underwear. How rude. I was distraught for about 10 minutes, and then I thought, I sew now. I can make my own. So I've been doing exactly that ever since. And I will insert a picture of the underwear that I have made in the style of M&S. It's a mashup of a number of patterns. If you are interested, which you're probably not, because underwear is so personal, we all like different things, don't we? But if you are interested, let me know. And another week I will tell you more about it. I only got one pair done because I made this pattern years and years ago, have been wearing it loads, but this time I wanted them to come up slightly higher. I found as I'm wearing more and more higher rise trousers, I would prefer my underwear to come up a little more to be less contoury. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes if I'm wearing closely fitted high-waisted trousers, you can see contours I wish you could not see. So yeah, I wanted to raise them a little bit. So I've added some height to the top of the pattern, but I don't know if that will affect other things in the wearing. So before I go nuts and cut out loads, I wanted to wear them and make sure I like them. So the fabric is a very peculiar knit from Rainbow Fabrics, and it's one of those ones I ordered online where it arrived and I was just like, that's not what I thought. They didn't describe it wrong or anything. It just, in my mind, I had one thing, something else arrived. But anyway, I thought it would be good for underwear. It's really nice and stretchy. This colour that's showing on camera is much more true to life. I mean, it's pretty neon, isn't it? Than how it photographed. In the photograph, it looked red for some reason, but it is hot pink. And yeah, I just finished the edges with stretch lace elastic. Unfortunately, while I had a great colour match for the leg width of elastic I needed, I prefer a wider waistband, and I didn't have any hot pink. It was more of a pale hot pink. Is that a thing? It was a lighter shade, and it doesn't match perfectly, but yeah, no. I'd say no one's going to see them, but I've just shown my pants to the entire internet, so loads of people are going to see them. Anyway, such is the life of a YouTuber. What else have I been up to this week? I'm checking my notes down here. Oh, towels. Oh, this is boring. Skip forward if you want. I altered some towels. I know, how dull. So these are the hand towels in our family bathroom, and I basically cut them in half and bound one edge in a not quite matching binding, because I'll tell you for why. When they go through the towel ring, previously I was having to fold them in half to get it to fit, and then it's hanging there double all day, and when people dry their hands, the towel was staying damp. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I don't like that. So my husband came up with the idea to just cut them in half so that now they hang perfectly flat through the rail and dry much quicker. That was the best match I could find in this like cotton binding tape. I mean, when you're absent-mindedly drying your hands, I don't think you're going to notice that it's not a perfect match. But I have done 4 or 6 hand towels, cut them in half, bound them. Oh, it was boring. It was annoying. When you fold in the ends and fold it over, that is very thick. My machine wasn't loving it. Anyway, I got it done, so I'm very pleased about that. And look at my handy little rail that my husband made me. It's got a little section. I actually asked him to do these bits so I could hold fabrics on it if I had like a few new fabric purchases to show you, but it's worked very well for my towel. And the other thing I need to tell you about is my backpack, and to say a huge thank you to everybody who explained to me in very simple terms how to fix this. So on my holiday, a line of stitching, thankfully only one, gave way. You can see this side is higher than this side because we lost one complete line of stitching as we were traveling. And you all told me to get to Hobbycraft and buy some Gutermann heavy duty thread, which has clearly been on the rack the whole time. Someone told me to look for the grey bobbin, and as soon as I did that, I was like, obviously, there it is. But I don't know, it was right under the top stitching thread, and I think in my mind that was all top stitching. Anyway, it's a lovely thick thread. Also, apparently great for sewing buttons on. So thank you as well for that tip. So I've bought that ready to repair this, and also somebody whose name I can't remember, I am sorry, told me that on their machine, stitch number 2 is a reinforced triple stitch. So I haven't tried it yet, but I assume it goes back and forth over each stitch 3 times to make it really strong. Why did I not know about that? Thank you so much. So I'm going to re-sew all of this, to be honest. I'm going to redo all of the strapping sewing in the heavy duty thread with the triple stitch. The kind lady who told me that did want me to practice because she said it is a bit weird how it goes forwards and backwards. So I'll be sure to do that first. But Yeah, I'm thrilled I'll be able to get that repaired because, as I said, I really do love this bag, and I've got a girls' trip coming up in September that I would like to use this bag for. So I'll be getting that done. I think that's everything I've got to tell you this week. Thanks very much if you stayed all the way to the end through my boring towel story. Have you had to do any mending or boring household sewing this week? I'm looking forward to finishing off a few more summer projects. We're getting towards the end of summer, but I'm not ready to let it go yet because it feels like it's not been here that long in the UK. So I've got a few more summery bits to do, and then I'll start thinking about autumn sewing. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.